we don't need the Canucks to be first overall in the Western Conference. We're like, oh, they slipped in at 8. That's positive. That's
fine.
fun.
And let Thatcher do his thing.
That's 4 more games for us to watch and kind of be excited. Like, because, we didn't expect them to be there at all.
No. And that's 4 games against the Ducks.
We expected them to be last overall.
I mean, I think this fan base was like fully ready for relegation. Like Abbotsford was going to be the Canucks and the Vancouver Canucks were going to be the AHL team for a little bit. It's been a wild little trip with Bruce, and now them being like, we're going on extensive search. Okay, we did our search 3 days.
we did our search, but actually we were gonna hire this guy before we hired Bruce.
That's the thing. It's for anyone who doesn't know, Francesco tweeted and blew up Vancouver
Right.
About the media thing. The issue that majority of people had was, you came out and you said we're going to go do an exhaustive, extensive search. And then 3 days later, you hired the dude that you said, oh, we're going on this crazy search.
The worst kept secret.
And it's like, what? Okay, it's where you go and do something and you do something just the complete opposite for the last 8 years, where people, and a lot of not only fans of media people, like they're just all gaslit and emotionally triggered and kind of have this PTSD of people saying one thing and not delivering and going the other way. So that culminated today with the presser where it was, I don't know, did you guys have a chance to
saw the snippets of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Nothing crazy.
This ownership and organization has a storied history of hiring the first person they talk to.
Yeah,
like they did it with Travis Green. Part of me thinks they hired the second person they talked to because there was Ron Hextall, but he went somewhere else. But it's like, okay, so how many there is a ray of hope where it's like, okay, they're having an exhaustive search for a general manager.
Yeah.
Because old Jimmy Rutherford, who sadly won't be phoning in this week, we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. But he knows that he's old as hell. He's here to mentor the Sedins. He's here to get this thing on the right track. But it's like, I was a little nervous listening to the presser where it's like, yeah, we wanted to get Jim and we really wanted to hire him, but he was sick, so we had to wait a few days. But that, Aquilini wanted Jim Rutherford right off the bat.
Yeah.
But then that's with the president. And it's kind of funny that even Jim Rutherford was like, maybe you should just hire me as a president.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know.
He's full on being like, I can be a GM, I can do the job. But he straight up is like, at my age, I'm better fit to be a president.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, great. That admission, like, fantastic. That's self-awareness.
And it's clear that this is an organization that needed a president who comes to the table with a resume, unlike the inexperienced people in management they've had over the last 9 years.
And they've identified and hired somebody that was like, hey, you know what? I can't do every single job there is.
Yeah.
You need to hire other people. Well, the previous guys that used to work here were like, no. We'll take care of everything.
Yeah.
We'll hide in a room and we'll run out of time.
That's how you know someone's screwing up, when they don't want you to know what they're doing.
Yeah. No, it's the Principal Skinner Aurora Borealis thing, where it's like the kitchen's on fire, and then the dude's like, what the hell is going on in there? And it's like, Aurora Borealis at this time of year, at this time of location, located entirely in your kitchen. Yes. Oh, can I see it? No. That literally was Jim Benning being like, the house is on fire, and Francesco's like, what the hell is happening? And so, yeah, in like,
sorry, let's take a moment on that, because that was, what's going on in there? Nothing to worry.
Hey, why'd I see Markstrom, Toffoli, Tanev, and Stetcher all get in their cars and pack their stuff? Don't worry about it. No. It's okay. It's fine.
So,
okay.
I wanted to say, because it'd be really funny if he just abruptly left. He's like, I'm out of here. If I'm fired, he left his office the way it was, and then in comes Jim Rutherford.
Benning?
Yeah, Benning leaves. In comes Jim Rutherford, and it's like, I would just be like, there's no filing system. There's just stacks of paper of just like scouting reports and like just like I was like, what the hell was this guy doing?
Notebooks.
Well, you got
just scribbles.
Yeah.
You guys know
names.
You know what Benning did, right? Like he would have it's in the video when he was
The
first
felt
hired.
board.
The felt board of every NHL team roster, and he would just like look at the board and be like, "Oh, who's good?
Who played for Portland?
Who played for Portland?" And yeah, but yeah, I mean Jim Benning is on the ban list, so I guess.
Yeah, that's right. He was on the ban list last week.
But yeah, Jim Rutherford came in. His presser was pretty reinvigorating. I think he had a lot of professional answers.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
And they were not necessarily and when he didn't have answers, he didn't try and make up one. He just said, "Listen, I need time. We're gonna figure this out." Oh yeah, am I the real trader, Jim? Yeah, but I'm not looking to do that right now because there's other stuff I have to do first.
Right.
But the first second I get to trade Tanner Pearson, I'll do it. He made that guarantee. Check it out. It's Sportsnet.
Okay, so my question to the both of you, in your opinion, is this the right hire for this team at this time?
It's different. It's different, and it's not necessarily the best, and it's not necessarily the worst.
Okay.
You have a person who's won 3 Stanley Cups, and a lot of people are really freaked out about the last tail end of Pittsburgh, where he went and gave Mike Matheson that he traded for Mike Matheson. He signed Jack Johnson. He got Eric Branson, and he was asked about those things, about those signings, and he said, like, listen, at the time, those moves were made because we we needed a physical guy. Jack Johnson came in. He was great for our locker room, but from day one he just wasn't accepted here. Yeah, and all that stuff. And he's like, I would make those moves again. And the problem is, like, I can see, like, at that point when everyone had left, Sam Ventura, Jason Barter, all these people had left, and it was basically just him. Yeah. Right. And Jim Rutherford is in that place, and he's been in the same mode for so long in that Pittsburgh organization where his entire thing is, I have Sid, I have Gino, I need to just trade first and get assets to go for another run.
It was the Jim Benning approach.
It was the Jim. Well, I mean, and then that's the proper approach when you have Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang.
Yes.
But nobody. If you ask anybody, it's like you're not going to knock him for, like, okay, you have 2 of the most dynamic and fundamentally incredible players of this generation that have won and are wanting to win and can still win. Do everything you can to get players to. And it was working because they were also, like, they would have all these collegiate players coming in, like Dumoulin and Brian Rust, and
it was sorry to interrupt. It's crazy because if you look at his moves, like in Carolina for the Cup run, it was Doug Weight, it was Mark Recchi. Yeah, bringing those veterans in. Eric Stahl had his rookie, like 100-point rookie season. Cam Ward took over for Martin Gerber in the playoffs, and boom, baby, you got a stew going. You got a starting goal. There's a crazy stat with that Carolina team, which is hilarious, where they were like, I don't know if it's like first place team. It was like they were a top 5 team with sub 900 goaltending with Martin Gerber, and it was like this weird stat. And then he goes to Pittsburgh, and the Pittsburgh stuff he did was redonkulous. It's crazy.
Well, he brought in he had a line in the presser today where it's like, you bring in 2 players and it makes the absolute difference, or you bring in the wrong 2 players, you trade out 2 players, and that's what affects these teams. And it was like Nick Bonino and Phil Kessel. Yeah. And all of a sudden that's a 6-headed monster in Pittsburgh, and nothing could stop them. Yeah.
It was like so finding Brian Rust, trading a third for Justin Schultz, John Marino was getting, I think it was a 3rd or a 5th from Edmonton of all teams. Like, no one knew about him. They just went and they're like, oh, our purse gathering was like, this guy's great. We're gonna get him. Trading Sutter for Bonino, getting in trading James Neal for Patrick Hornquist, David Perron, whom they traded a first for, who didn't work out. So that's the other great thing about him is, like, he doesn't wait around. For if he makes a move and it doesn't work, he's like, well, okay, this obviously isn't working. I'm just going to do it. So he trades David Perron for Carl Hagelin, and then does the Phil Kessel deal. Yeah. Right? And then, like, all these moves weren't just, this isn't a slightly a Gillis thing where, oh my God, the core's pretty much there and he has players he just went out and he made those moves to insulate his core. Yeah. And that's how they won 2 cups. Yeah. And it's crazy.
And he had a handful of, he was always I mean, but after that first cup and before the second cups, the Penguins were always doing something to find a lightning in a bottle for Sid and Gino, whether it was James Neal or David Perron or Tanner Pearson, or now it's Jason Zucker. Like they're just looking for anything, and you can look at those 3 deals in Pittsburgh and be like, oh, because they involve the Canucks, but it's a completely different scenario and situation. And until that happens here, I'm not necessarily that worried about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say, based on your question of if he's the right guy, I couldn't tell you somebody that needs to come in.
Gita just nudged my leg with her foot.
Oh, Gita.
I didn't want you to tell anyone.
Rita's just downstairs being like, what's going on up there?
But, he's coming in to do an exhaustive search. And I was watching him on Tim and Sid.
So 4 days?
Tim and Friends. He's like, they're like, oh, you said in the presser you have 40 candidates for general manager. He's like, no, I do.
Okay.
And he has a list of and he's going to find the right guy.
Okay.
And he's also going to mentor the Sedins into their roles.
Right.
And so if he has a 5-year window in Vancouver where he's going to hire the best possible general manager, mentor the Sedins, and get this on the right track, then yes, he is the right guy for the job.
Okay.
And he also asked a very fair question where it's like, man, you're an old 72-year-old white hockey man.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, the world's changing and we do need to have that diversity. And I agree. And you hope that they are hiring for people. The Habs are hiring. The Habs are interviewing at least 3 women for their general manager position right now. Yeah. So he said all the right things. Aquilini did not, as he's been known to.
Yeah, that was.
Aren't they not media trained?
I think one of them is, and
and I'm talking about that Aquilini Benning era. Where are their media people?
It makes no sense.
It really makes no sense how you couldn't have just had Stan Smeel as your president and just had him answering for Jim Benning.
In those roles, you should be a little more polished. You don't just get up there and wing it and then talk off the cuff because you want to be real.
Let's riff here, fellas. Let's riff.
Well, I'll quickly touch on the interview where I think one of the hubbub of the Francesco Rutherford thing was people were expecting media people to ask about Francesco's tweet and make a big thing about it.
Right.
Daniel Ragnar of Vancouver's Awesome as and Pasadena, I feel, did a wonderful job in where he asked the question that I think is way more pressing. And if we had to pick between the 2 questions being asked, I want the question that he asked. And he followed up about the redacted sexual misconduct and the investigation both on the Canucks side and the VPD side. And that caught Francesco off the foot where he bumbled a bit and he's like, well, which one are you asking about? Are you asking about the one in Pittsburgh or the one? Oh, the Vancouver one. Which one? And then it was like, wait. There's only one here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's that flub. And then Daniel following up and putting his Francesco's foot to the fire a little bit longer, saying, okay, well, are you willing to say here and now that you'll make the results of your personal investigation, like the Canucks investigation into this misconduct, public?
Okay.
He asked it twice.
Yeah.
And Francesco he's like, well, it's a police matter. I can't comment on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, man, that's a pretty easy layup for you to just be like, well, when our thing is when the time comes where we're able to share our findings, we will.
Yeah. Well, they literally can't right now because those charges are with the Crown.
Yeah.
And which is a very positive sign.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you can't speak to it if it's before the courts.
Yeah. But it's like he had, I don't know. I would have to ask a legal expert what he really could say in that position. But it's regardless of what he said, it's that fumble off the top. And like Arash and I were talking about it on the way here where he's like, oh, which investigation? And it's like, yeah, we really wanted, we want to hear what Aquilini has to say about Bill Guerin.
That's the thing, right? Because it is a criminal investigation. It's with a higher authority. I don't think there is anything that their internal investigation would find that like the criminal investigation wouldn't. And they've already dismissed him. And so
it's a
Yeah.
bit of a tough spot.
Exactly.
And also like they have to say as little as possible in the matter, because if it does become a legal song and dance,
Yeah.
everything gets held against things.
So I guess what I really meant was like I would rather have Daniel Wagner follow up on that on the investigation as opposed to asking, hey, Francesco, remember when you tweeted and you said we suck?
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay, like he tweeted that, and you have two options. Either you can be the person that he says you are in the tweet, where you're this villainous, Vancouver Canucks media whom should only have been doing positive things for the past 8 years, and how dare they talk about losses and how people should not have their job. They're so negative in that way. Or you can say, okay, well, you said what you said, and we're going to go on and we're going to keep doing what we think we're doing as journalists. And I think Thomas Trance also wrote a great piece in The Athletic, basically just saying, like, listen, you are in full ability to question what we do as journalists here, but if you want more more reporting based off of your perspective and what you see on the team, there is nothing stopping you, Vancouver Canucks Sports and Entertainment, from creating full-time beat writers for this organization.
Right.
Putting in effects where young journalists can come in and they don't have to worry about it having to be with a specific accredited place to get a accreditation to come and cover these games. You can put in more money on that side to foster and bring up that kind of next wave of people that you think might have another perspective outside of the current corrupt Vancouver media.
Well, I think further to that, maybe the whole idea of media is going to have to be evaluated because it is evolving.
Yeah.
We didn't have, like, everybody has a podcast now. We didn't have that 15 years ago. That's not how the team was being covered.
No.
Now there's blog sites. The Athletic essentially is a blog site.
Yeah.
But, like, that's media.
Yeah, that is what media is now.
That is credible, respected journalism.
Well, how about, it's funny you bring that up, because like when all the media members in Vancouver were introducing themselves, you hear, hi, Jeff Patterson, Rink-Wide Podcast.
Yeah,
Daniel Wagner, crazy. Vancouver is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that is how things are covered right now, because lovely telecommunication companies do not give a shit about journalism in the least bit.
Yeah, before it was the Province, the Sun, CKNW,
News, Talk,
TSN.
and Sports.
News, Talk, and Sports.
And now it's Farhan, like, I can't make it across the border. You're going to have to send someone.
Yeah, it's Farhan being like, he's just calling in and being like, hey, Jim Rutherford. Hey, yeah, I'm at my son's football game. They wanted me to ask you, if you had a shawarma, what would you put in it? Are you a pineapple guy or a pickled guy? Okay. Okay, great.
We're 3rd and 10, and we gotta convert this. I gotta go, Jim.
We're 3rd and 10. Oh God, just look like you want it. So good.